Hello and welcome to this episode of Sexuality After. This
Hello.
week, this week I am with Jacqueline Joy, who is an old friend of mine, and we reconnected through Facebook. And I saw her posts on Facebook regularly, and I really loved them. She talks all about body image and loving your body the way it is. She's a huge advocate, basically, for self-love. And I would really love seeing her post. It was a bright spot in my day. And so I really wanted to bring her on to give her a platform here to talk to you guys about her experience with that, why that's important to her, how that developed over her life. And hopefully, you can relate because our society gives us so many messages about our bodies, what they should be and shouldn't be. And I love that there's a big movement right now combating that. And I love that you're a part of it. And I love that you're on the show. So
Thank you for having me.
totally. So if you just want to tell my listeners who you are, what you do, and then we'll go from there.
My name is Jacqueline. As you said, I live in Montreal, Canada, Quebec. I used to live in Calgary where I met you. And I am 38 years old. I'll be 39 this year in the next couple of months. My last year in my 30s.
Yeah.
And I've always just like lived a life of just like, okay, I'm comfortable and like I'm good with that. Like, I was comfortable in my job, comfortable with the person I was with. And but I was just never finding my joy in any of that. And then I moved back to Montreal for a boyfriend, and we were together for 3 years, and I gave up a lot of myself for that relationship, not because he asked it of me, it was because I associated that with my self-worth. Like always having to look good and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And but there were so many problems in that relationship. I was very codependent on him. I mean, our sex life was like non-existent, but I stayed because it was comfortable. And when he left me for someone much younger, I was like left really broken, and I didn't know what to do with my life or where to go. I was like 37 at the time and single again, and I was just like, no, I'm like, this is enough. I need to figure out my life on my own. I've been so codependent on other people and things for my happiness and fulfillment and joy. And I thought I was like sexually broken because our relationship was so sexually non-existent but I realized when I was like, in those times of being like that single time, I realized like how sexual I was, and I wasn't broken. It was just I was just I was didn't realize my worth or my confidence in that relationship, and I wasn't with someone who helped me realize it. And so like first thought, you're 37, and I do want to have kids, so your first thought is like find someone else. But I was like, no, because I'm just gonna end up right where I was.
Yeah.
So I realized that I needed to find my fulfillment and joy and my passions and all of that stuff within myself and on my own. And I realized I could have a baby on my own. Like I don't need, a man for anything. And I was like very codependent on him financially. So I decided like I'm like I need to tell other women this. I need to help other women feel like this and like feel like they can figure out all of their fulfillment and joy within themselves and they don't need anybody or anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, how can I do that? And I just kind of started, I don't know, I kind of started talking about it. And then I found a course that I took. It was an empowerment coach certification. And that just like led to all of this. And I started my membership group, which is called the Empowered Goddess Project.
Nice. I love it.
And it's just a membership group. It's just for women. It's just about just like owning who you are and just finding all your joy within yourself. And I created a program called Awaken Your Inner Goddess, and I'm working through that. It's all like very new for me right now. I'm just like getting it all like prepared and like ready to go and like for launching. But I'm really excited because as I'm doing it, I'm realizing like how, and I'm bringing someone through it right now as a practice client, and I'm seeing like the growth. And like she was so repressed in her life. Like she's like she's in her 40s, and she's so repressed with like sexuality and everything and herself. And I've just like And I can't believe that through my work that she's like becoming like so confident and so excited to be a
Oh,
goddess.
it's
And so I
amazing.
just like it's so I can't wait to do it more and more.
Yes, totally. So by the time this podcast launches, it's very possible that your program will have launched already as well.
Yes, yes, it's very soon it's going to be happening.
Cool. That's amazing. Okay, beautiful. So you're a women's empowerment coach.
Yes.
Okay, you help them find their inner goddess.
Yes.
Perfect. I love it. I know it's so rewarding. And
Yes.
I've had a similar, I don't know if it's super similar to yours, but just in the fact that I was incredibly disempowered and then I became empowered through just work and courses and life and everything. And it's a vastly different life. And to
Yes.
me, so what is empowerment? This is a little bit off the what I was going to do, but what does empowerment mean to you? I was thinking about it the other day because I'm doing a YouTube video on what is empowerment anyways? Why is it such a big deal? And I kind of came up with empowered is like empowered, like IN. So it's finding your power within yourself and not from
Other people,
not
other
finding your
things.
worth or value from other people, like from having a boyfriend or a girlfriend or not, having a specific job or looking a certain way. It's like, I know that I am powerful and I am worthy of life and love just within myself.
That's exactly how I see it also. Like it doesn't matter how much you weigh, it doesn't matter how much what you look like, it doesn't matter the scars you have, it doesn't matter what your hair looks like, it doesn't matter how much money you have, that you're worthy of love and passion and everything just because of who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a long time to realize that, and I still struggle with it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
It's a
like
process.
it's a process and it's a battle every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I find that the more empowered you become, the easier you are able to get yourself out of those like limiting beliefs, like those times where you're like looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, what the heck? I've gained weight. Nobody's gonna want me. I still get those moments, but I get myself out of them a lot quicker than I used to.
Exactly, because through becoming empowered, you learn tools
Hmm.
that you can use on in your day-to-day life.
Hmm.
And you're already kind of out of that rut. And so when you fall back in, it's like, oh, I'm going to come back out again.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. So what were like the 2 to 3 main beliefs that grew up with around sex, sexuality, and your body?
Growing up, like I wasn't really repressed or anything. I grew up in like a very like free kind of household. Like when I was 14, I had a boyfriend that was 18 and like he was able to sleep over. Like, there wasn't any like I know it's horrible, but anyways, but like I was like probably the last one to lose my virginity out of my friends when we were like 15, you know.
Yeah.
So there was never any like repression there, but
Mhm.
I don't think I don't really have like it's more when I got older that I started to feel that like with society and body issues and all of that. That's when I started to feel more of that of self like limiting beliefs and stuff as I got older and my body developed and that kind of stuff and you see more of society and then social media came in because when we went to high school there was no social media
Yeah.
or any of that or anything to look at and I don't know those thoughts really didn't come into my mind. It's more when I became an adult and like social media came about and that's when I really started to feel bad or guilty or whatever you may call
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. What would you say were the 2 main beliefs that you've overcome then? Like the ones that you developed and then had to overcome?
Mostly like a lot about body issues. I mean, I've been at both spectrums. I mean, you know me from the past. I used to like be really into fitness and competing and fitness competitions, and like I've had like the most lean body that you can ask for. But I wasn't happy then, and thought that that's what I needed to do to find like my self-worth and someone to love me, but I wasn't even loving myself at the time. And now I'm like, I'm a, I've gained, like, I mean, I'm not that anymore. I am curvy and, I've gained, especially with COVID going on, I've gained weight, but I
Yes,
have just
totally.
realized like that, that it doesn't matter. I'm not, and sorry, my cat might make an appearance here.
That's fine. We
Just
love cats.
sorry about that. Yeah, and so you distracted me. Yeah, like my self-worth and everything, I always thought it came from like how I looked in my body. But like especially with COVID and gaining weight, like I just don't I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I am just gonna love myself for who I am, and the partner I'm gonna be with is gonna love me for all of me with the weight I've gained. And even if I'm with someone and I gain 20 more pounds, they're gonna love me just as much. And like that's the mindset that I've had to come about.
Yeah. Did that manifest
And
itself?
also,
Oh, yeah. You go.
sorry. No, I was just gonna say also when I was younger and like I'm a sexual person. I like not that I associate like sex with like my love or whatever. I am just a sexual person. I like that's the way I don't know. I just am.
Yeah.
And if you go on a date with someone and you really feel a connection and you want to do whatever you want to do after, like I now I'm good. Like now we can't even date it, so it sucks because I
Right.
really just want to, date. I really want. I'm single. I'm like in my new woman energy. I want to date, and you can't even do that.
Totally.
But back then when I was younger and I was dating and I was single, I liked that. I liked going on dates and meeting people and having a connection, but then I always felt crappy the next day, you know? I always felt like you know, slut or a bad girl for, honoring my sexuality. So I've overcome that. I just can't test it out right now.
Beautiful. Where do you think that came from? The slut judgment? Because you didn't get that from your family by the sounds
No,
of it growing up. Like there was no judgment or repression
I think
there.
it's just society. It's just like
Yeah.
people at school, like just society, just what people say. Like
Yep.
everything you read back in the day was don't give it away and like make them wait till the fifth date. You're not
Totally.
every advice that you would get from anybody is like if you like someone and you're going on a date with someone, don't give it away, don't do this, don't do that,
Yeah.
or else like they're going to look at you a certain way. And a lot of men are like that. They do look at you a certain way.
Yeah. Totally.
I think it's not
Um,
fair.
yeah, it's a total double standard for sure for men and women. I think that's changing,
Yes, it is changing.
which is
It
really
is.
good. Your um your body image issues when you were dating, did that look like and going into bodybuilding and stuff, did that look like, oh, if I lose 10 pounds or if I get rid of this little bit of fat here on my waist, then guys will be more attracted to me or then I'll get a boyfriend? Or like
Yes.
what did that kind of look like?
Oh, I always thought that, when I lost all that weight and I was like in my prime shape and I was competing and I was like a bikini model and I was like, I'm like, now I'm gonna find the man, but I didn't. So I realized that it's like, I didn't realize then. I realized now, looking back, that it wasn't about what I didn't. I just hadn't figured out my self worth back then. It was the
Totally.
lowest it ever was. I was in the best shape of my life, but it was the lowest of my self-worth was ever at. So obviously I was attracting not nice people or not the right person for me.
Yeah.
So
We kind of attract people according to our own self-worth, I think.
yes,
Because
yeah,
then we
I agree
will put up with stuff that we don't put up with when we value ourselves more.
that. Very true. Like with my ex-boyfriend in that relationship, yeah, I put up with a lot of stuff that I should have never put up with looking back on it.
Yeah.
Like I knew he was doing things behind my back. I don't know to the extent, but I knew he was like not maybe not cheating, but like talking to people and like going out and being like acting like he's not in a relationship. Like I knew he was doing those things, but I didn't. I just let it, go
Yeah.
because I was comfortable and
Yes. Being comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And now I'm in the most uncomfortable place I've ever been in my life. But it's great because
Yes.
like, yeah, it is.
The most uncomfortable and the most fulfilling.
Yes, exactly.
That usually
Exactly.
oddly
And
goes together.
yeah, and it'll get comfortable. It'll get comfortable right now. But you have to be uncomfortable to like get the shit you want in life. You do.
It's true.
You
Absolutely.
do. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Okay, hang on. There was a question I wanted to ask about the second belief you talked about. Um, oh yeah, like sleeping with somebody if you wanted to sleep with them, and the judgment of being a slut and stuff. Like, I definitely want to bring up that just for my listeners, that being sexually empowered doesn't necessarily mean sleeping with a bunch of people either. Like,
No,
that can be
exactly.
sexually empowered, but sexual empowerment just means to me that you are making the choices
Exactly.
that you want. Like, you're choosing whether
Yeah.
you want sex or don't want sex. You're not doing it to people please. You're not doing it because you feel like you should or a sense of obligation. It's just because that's what you want, whatever
Mhm.
that is, whether it's I don't want to have sex until I'm married, even, or
Yeah.
I only, I want to have sex with this person that I met, 10 minutes ago, like whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
If it's the choice that you want because it feels good to you, then that's empowered.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like I said, I am a connection person and I don't connect with a lot of people very much. So if I'm out with someone and I really like feel connected to them and whatever I want to do, I want to do, and right
Totally.
now I'm in a position right now where yeah, I would love to have a relationship, but it's always been a priority of mine to have a relationship. I've always been searching for a relationship and like the person to have kids with, and like for the first time in my life I am not searching for that, and I am so like I'm searching for myself. I'm trying to figure out myself. I'm trying to figure out my business, and I don't want I know if I mean I don't know, but I mean I feel like if I got into a certain it might sidetrack me, maybe I don't know, but right now my creativity comes from my joy like okay, like a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I was with someone that I really felt a connection with, and like, we had a great night. And I for the days that followed, so much creativity came out of me.
Yeah.
So like my creativity comes from that, like I don't need a man for like to live or to be fulfilled, but it ignites something in me when I feel like a connection with someone.
Yeah.
Like so that's what I would love to have right now, but it's kind of hard.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yes. Connection is powerful.
it is
That's
powerful.
one of
So
our
I don't,
cores as a human being.
yeah, and there's a difference between like going out with someone and like sleeping with them just because you feel like you want to, like they're fulfilling something, that, like you're, like you want to feel like loved or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a difference with that. And I've been in those situations where I've
Totally.
been with someone just because I needed to fulfill a feeling that I wasn't giving to myself.
Yep.
And I feel the difference between that and what I'm feeling now. And it's a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you describe that difference a little bit more? For me, it's like I'm having sex because it's coming from within. It's like a want, it's a desire. It's not to get something, it's to like give or share something.
Yeah.
What's the difference to you? You can take a minute to
um,
think about it if you want.
it's a difference to me. Um, well, I think, in the situation where I was, where it was to like fulfill like some need that I wasn't giving myself, it was like always like with an end result, like, oh, like is he gonna like, I'm gonna sleep with him, so he's gonna like, call me the next day, and we're gonna, we're gonna do like we're gonna be in a relationship or like something like that. And then when it wouldn't happen, I would feel horrible and disgusting and like, what the hell did I do? Um, so like that's because I was like, I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but
You
that was
are.
because but that was because I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it to like fill like this feeling that I needed someone in my life. And now it's not that I need someone in my life. I just, I could wake up the next day and go home and be good. And I don't care if he calls me again because it was just, I don't need that thing or whatever it is after. I don't know how to say it, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
You're doing it out of want
Out of want and not out
and
of I
desire.
need something from you.
Yeah.
I don't
Out of
need anything from you. It's for me, you know?
maybe empowerment is in part fulfilling our own needs so that we live our life and build connection and have relationships out of a sense of desire and want and not a grasping need to fulfill our wounds and our,
Yes.
I was going to say holes, but that sounds dirty. Sometimes it's nice to get your holes filled. So, you know what I mean?
No, but yeah, it is true. Your wounds, they're holes. They are. Um, yeah, yes, exactly. I think for me, I have a lot of daddy issues, like man issues. I do. I grew up without my dad in my life. I was only 25 when I met him. So, I mean, I think I've grown up with just kind of always like seeing um like codependency, kind of maybe like my through my mom, maybe. I don't know. It's just always been a thing. Like you know, I was never brought up to be a strong, independent, go out and get what you want kind of thing. I've always kind of looked to other people, and I'm
Yeah.
owning that. Like, I'm owning it. That's what I was for a long time,
Yeah.
and I've only realizing it almost 39. That you can own it yourself. But
Yeah. Like you and the vast majority of people, I think.
yes,
It's easy and tempting. If you're not taught otherwise, it's natural to just look to other people to fulfill us.
hmm and especially a lot of people that get married very young. They don't know any. Like they just get married young and they just become like the wife at home and and that's what the life I wanted for so long. I just wanted to be a wife and I just wanted to be like submissive and I just wanted to be like the woman at home and a man to like take care of. That's what I want. That was my dream for so long. And I still kind of want that in a way,
Yeah.
but in an empowered way. Like I still want to have my own voice and like
Yeah.
but
I love that you pointed that out. I mean, it's not sometimes femininity or the concept of um, being feminist these days says that that's not okay. It's
mhm.
not okay to want to be at home and have kids and be supported, but that's not true.
Yeah, I don't agree with the whole feminist thing as much, very much. Like, I am a feminine person. I am like a feminist in a way, but I'm not like I don't agree with all of the feminist things about how women should,
I mean, it depends on the feminism you're
depends.
talking about
It
because there's
depends.
different
Yes,
kinds of feminism out there. So
yes,
to me, the feminism that I subscribe to is that women should have choice.
yes, exactly.
Equal, they should have equal choice to men
Mhm.
and equal opportunities.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that they're going to want the same things necessarily. It doesn't mean that you're going to see like 50-50 in everything in life.
No. Yeah.
um, but that they can do whatever they want to do.
Exactly. You can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. And I like to think of a world where women will support other women regardless of what their choice is.
Hmm.
Because nowadays there's, there's a group of people or a group of women that say, oh, you shouldn't be, you should always have a job and be pursuing a career. And there's other women
Yeah.
that are like, being at home is really the right way to be. And I just think you just need to choose and be supported in that choice. Like that's
Being
feminism.
empowered is just support, and feminism and empowerment is just supporting a woman in whatever choice she decides to do. Like I totally agree with women that want to work, and I totally agree with women who want to stay at home. I
Exactly.
support, and I think women should, be able to do whatever they want, but a lot of people get down on me because like I don't want to fix things on my car. Like you should be a woman. I don't want to do those things. That is a man's job. I'm sorry. I don't want to do those things. And I'm not disempowered just because I don't want to change my tire or change my windshield. Like, those are things that I will leave for a man to do. And it doesn't mean,
or
and
a,
any less
or a
than a
woman
yeah, or a woman.
or a woman
Exactly.
mechanic. Just it's not
Exactly.
something you want
Exactly.
to do.
I'm glad that you brought that up. Exactly. A mechanic, someone who's in that field to do that, or
Yeah.
anything that needs fixing in my house. Like it doesn't make me any less of a woman because I don't want to do those things that they call a man's job, or like, a
Yeah,
blue job.
totally. Yes. Blue job and pink jobs. Ugh.
And even in relationships, I like to, even though I am an empowered, confident woman, in a relationship, I like to be in my business and my outside life. I will be like that powerful woman, but with a partner, I like to be a little bit submissive.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the man to be the man.
Yeah. To like make decisions or take charge or what? What do you mean by be a man?
Like, not to make decisions, but I know, I guess that sounded really like, how do I even explain that?
Yeah.
What do I mean by that? I just like I like to be the feminine woman. Like I said, like the things that need to be taken care of around the house and fixed, he could do that. When it comes to like in the house, it's going to be the man, obviously, or if it's a woman and a woman, whoever the
Yeah.
masculine person is.
Yeah.
But and it doesn't mean I'm going to cook all the time. I don't want to be the person that cooks all the time. But I want to be the feminine woman who's feminine and taken care of, but not in a financial way. But I want to be romanced and taken care of and feel like a woman that I am. I
Yeah.
don't want to be an equal in that part, but I'm also going to make him feel like a man and feel like he's desired and taken care of. When I say taken care of, I don't mean, you know what I mean, like taken care of where you feel like your cup is filled as a woman or as a man. You need to do that for each other.
That looks different for everybody.
Yes, it looks a bit different for everybody, of course.
It's good. Like I hear a lot of I want, and I really love that because a lot of women, specifically women, more than men, I think in general, aren't very clear on what they want.
Hmm.
And to ask those questions, like what do I want in a relationship? And what do I need actually to make my cup feel filled? Specifically, what do I need? Do I need flowers once a week? Do I need, like, what does that look like exactly? And then what do I mean by I want to feel feminine? What does feminine mean to me? What does that look like on a practical level? And just to ask yourself all those questions is to really get clear on what you want. That's really powerful.
It is. And a lot of women, they want flowers and they want a little romance. And a lot of men are like, well, I'm not like that. Or I don't do that. And a lot of women accept it, and you shouldn't accept it. You should always speak what you want and ask for what you want. And you should like, I'm single now and I have the opportunity to create or get whatever, or, that's why I guess I'm single now because it's so uh, COVID, yes, but also I'm very selective, and on COVID, yeah, COVID is a big thing because how are you even supposed to meet anybody? I can't even say that selective because how can you make a selection online that the only
Yeah.
option right now is online, and
Yeah.
that's hard. But I think a woman should always have what she wants and what she asks for within reason. If you want a little romance, there's nothing wrong with asking for that.
Yeah. And same for men.
And for
Yeah.
men also as well. Exactly.
And like if we don't say what it's scary to say what we want. I was talking to my husband about this the other day that it is scary to ask for what we want.
It is.
Because it's being vulnerable, it's putting yourself out there. But if you don't ask for what you want, you definitely won't get it.
No, exactly. People can't
So,
read minds, and I thought that for so many years
right.
that he could read my mind, but they really can't read your mind. And you can't
Yeah.
just put little hints out there. You just have to be open and honest. And I was at one point open and honest. And when I wasn't, when I didn't get what I was asking for, looking back on it, that's when I should have left, but I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. So, what has been your hardest one understanding of sex, sexuality, body image?
Has been my hardest understanding.
Your hardest one, like the one that's been the most difficult for you to conquer or grasp or change?
I think, well, I mean, I got over that quickly about like the whole thing about just sleeping with someone and not feeling guilty about it. That was a big one to get over, but it's like such a distant thing. I don't even. But for now, like, I guess for now, it's body image. I guess just like feeling comfortable with my body with when I'm with someone and like worrying about what they're if they're looking at whatever they're looking at, and just being free and just saying what I want. That's a big thing that I need to work on is saying what I want sexually
Yeah,
to the person that I'm with. But
yeah,
it's hard when you're just like dating, to do that. That comes with like being with someone and I haven't had the opportunity to do that. So I'm excited to like be I'm excited to like test all this out and like be with someone and say like, what I desire and what I want in a relationship. But yeah, talking about what I want sexually is a hard thing for me. I don't know if it's going to be a hard thing. I haven't had the chance to test it out.
yeah. You have your voice in other areas of your life,
Yes.
and you have that capability. So you want to test it out with another
Yes.
person sexually and see how it
Yes, I
goes.
do. Because I've
Totally.
never had that voice really before.
Yeah.
you know yeah, so yeah, I want to have that voice.
And I always tell women too, it starts with knowing what it is you want and how you like to be touched. I have a whole workshop on that actually right now on how to have more confidence in bed. But it's like kind of the basis of it is you have to know yourself before you can teach someone else what it is you want. And a lot of women don't take the time to self pleasure or to know their bodies, to know their fantasies well enough, or to look at their fantasies with enough curiosity to know, like, how do I want to feel in bed? What does turn me on? Why does it turn me on? It's important to know those things.
And then another thing is you get a little bit of shame because I mean I was with someone and like I asked them to do something and they kind of looked at me weird and then you feel like, oh my god, is there something wrong with me, like what, like, so there's that. But you just have to realize that there's just not everybody is going to be for you. you know there's nothing wrong with liking the things that you like. And if like it wasn't a serious thing, so it was just like a thing, so I can't judge them. But if you're with someone, you have to be open and talk about the things that you like, and you shouldn't feel bad or dirty or anything if you like certain things that someone else finds, you know different.
Yeah, I mean, we're all kinky and quirky in different ways. And people that say they're not, they're just not admitting it to themselves.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, or they're just not comfortable yet, or I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I had to get over that. But it didn't, in the past, if that would have happened in the past, I probably would have felt horrible. But I was just like, whatever, like you're just not the person for me.
And that's like, can we just pause on that because that is really powerful
Yeah,
to be able to face, somebody else's judgment and be like, "Oh, well, then you're just not the person for me."
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's such
it
a
is.
powerful place to be. I love that.
Because with my ex-boyfriend, I honestly thought I was like sexually broken at one point. Just because, and I realized after when I was like single again, and I was, even since I've been single, I haven't had any great experiences, but I've had experiences, and I just like realized like how sexual I am. I just haven't met the person who like, fits with me yet,
Yeah.
and that's okay. But in the past, that would have been like, what's wrong with me? Like, why is this not
Yeah.
working?
What's wrong with me as opposed to I just haven't found a match yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just haven't found the person for me yet that brings out that side of me.
Yeah, totally.
I'm excited for that.
Totally. I'm
And
excited
until
for
then,
you.
I bring it out of myself. I do.
Exactly. I
I
love
do.
that you
Yes.
brought that up. I was just about
Yeah.
to say that.
Yes.
Like you have found that within yourself to start with.
Yeah, I do. I like, I'm single. I live by myself. It's COVID. You can't do anything, but like I'll like cook myself dinner and I'll put music on. I'll put candles on. I'll put the fireplace channel on. I will like I'll have like the music on that you would have if you were like having sex, and I'll feel myself out and I'll dance. And I live in a condo where if I have the curtains open, I live in a courtyard and people can see me, and I just open them and I'm like, hey, everyone.
I love
it just
it.
it just makes me feel good.
Totally.
I'm creating a scenario as if there was someone else here and how I would like it, and I do that for myself, and it doesn't make me feel bad at all.
Yeah. You're fulfilling your own desires and your own needs.
Yes, exactly, and I know exactly what I need when I have someone else.
Exactly.
And I didn't know any of that before. I never knew what I needed or what Jacqueline needed or what I wanted. It's the first time in my
Yes.
life that I really know what I want and desire, and it sucks. I
Yeah.
can't do anything with it right now
Yeah.
except create what I'm creating for other women.
Yeah.
So that's good.
It reminds me of something I realized a while ago is I was kind of feeling resentful that my partner at the time, well, I don't know, like I feel like a lot of guys do this, but like when they go to touch you or like when you're doing foreplay, it's like boobs, pussy.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
foreplay. Like they touch your
Yeah.
nipples, they touch your pussy. And I was like, why don't they touch like the whole rest of my body? Like my skin's really sensitive. It's like
Yeah.
kind of like a clit all over my body. Like I like touch my skin, like touch my body. Why is it so hard to like get that through to people? Why do
I
they
am very touchy.
focus?
I touch all the body.
Right. And like, why is it so hard for people to get? And then I was like, when I masturbate, I only like touch my nipples and my pussy.
So you're doing the same thing.
Yeah. And I'm like, how can I expect someone else to
Yeah.
touch me
If you're not
when
touching
I'm not
yourself.
even touching myself?
You're so right. And I'm the same.
Like, so I always talk to women about like touch yourself the way you want to be touched. If you
Very
want to be
true.
like
I like that.
poked, even like I'm not even talking about sensual softness, which is like great and has its place, and maybe that's all you want all the time, but maybe you want like more um, you
Like your
know,
ass smacked.
yeah, like
I
like
like that.
do that to yourself or like grab yourself
Yeah.
strongly or like choke yourself or whatever it is that you like do it to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Why don't we do that to ourselves when we self-pleasure is to touch ourselves the way we wanna be touched, treat ourselves the way we wanna be treated
Very true.
in bed. And it was just really I felt like it was unfair of me to expect something different from my partner that I'm willing to give myself.
I never even thought about it like that, but that's so true. Yeah, I totally
That's
agree
kind
with
of
that.
an interesting
I'll be thinking
realization there.
about that next time.
And then it's like, well, I want him to be more creative in bed. I wanna do different positions and different things. And it's like, well, do you do that for yourself?
Yeah,
Or is it just always like, laying on your bed in the same position when you
yeah.
masturbate? So then how can you expect someone to bring that to you if you're not willing to bring it to
Or some
yourself?
people don't even masturbate or ever touch themselves.
Right.
Oh,
And
and,
then
that's another thing is I was 18. I was over 18 when I masturbated for the first time. I remember being in school. I was, like, taking a course to be an esthetician. I've taken every course you could think of, but and I remember I was talking to the other girls, they were maybe a little bit older than me, and they were talking about masturbation, and I'm like, "I've never done that before." They're like, "What?"
yeah.
It's like I think I was and, I was like my first time I had sex, I was 15, and I only had ever had my first orgasm when I was 18.
Yeah, I don't think that's uncommon.
No, I know. Even I think even later, some people are even a lot later than that, but
Totally. I've definitely heard of women in their 40s or 50s or 60s who have never
yeah.
masturbated. And then your pleasure depends on the other person solely.
Mhm.
Like, what a disempowering place to be, you know?
Yeah, but now I've gotten to the point where I guess I just haven't met the right person, but I'm able to pleasure myself, but being with someone, uh, it's not as easy.
Yeah.
It's not as easy for me to let go and let loose, but that's why I'm like, ready to test all this
Yeah.
out.
I mean, that makes sense. It's vulnerable and risky to be with somebody else, to be open, to be sexual with somebody else. Definitely is more challenging than with yourself. I
Hmm.
mean, in a different way. Sometimes it's easier in other ways, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but mm, yeah.
What's your biggest sexual regret?
My biggest sexual regret is probably that when I was with my ex-boyfriend, we broke up. He left me in the summer, so this summer will be 2 years that he left me. So the Christmas before that, he told me it was on Christmas Eve, and he told me that he wasn't sexually attracted to me anymore. And I stayed in the relationship because I thought that we can make it better because I was like codependent on him. I wish I would have left then. Like that, I mean, it's not very a sexual thing,
No,
but
that
it is.
works.
It is. Yeah, I wish I would have left then. I wish I would have realized like my worth and like my sexual worth, and that it just made me feel broken. It made I think if I look at my Audible, like I've bought so many books. Like I look back in that time, I bought so many books about sexual. I thought I was like there was something wrong with me. I bought every book you could think of, trying to fix my sexuality. Like I thought there was something wrong with me. How he,
Because he wasn't attracted to you?
yeah, exactly. And like he said that, but I don't know. But yeah, it just totally made me feel so broken, and I stayed with him for another 6 months until he left me, but I should have left right then. I should have realized my worth at that moment and left
Yeah,
instead of trying to fix myself. There was nothing I had to fix about myself.
totally. Why do you think, like, why in your relationship did you get so sexually repressed? And like, it sounds like you guys didn't really have much sex towards the end.
Yeah.
So
Um,
why, like, how did that come about?
because our relationship kind of became like a father-daughter relationship. Like I know I have my daddy issues, but like it became very much like he was um I said before I like to be submissive, but I became way too submissive. And he became like, he made the decision. Not because I asked him, he hated it. He wanted me to make decisions, but I was like, no, you decide. And you do that. You decide that. Oh, I don't know how to like and like I said, I don't want to get my car fixed. But like now I'll like bring my car, like, no, you bring the car. Like you answer them, you answer that person. I don't like, I was just very and I think it put a lot of pressure on him, and I don't fault him at all. Like, there was a lot of things that I take ownership for a lot of things that happened in that relationship, but it became a very much relationship where he was kind of like, my father, and like who's attracted to their, who can have a sexual relationship with someone when you feel like you're taking care of them or like they're your child, and that's very much like how our relationship became.
That makes sense. It's interesting. There's all sorts of reasons why we enter into relationships and why we're attracted to people. One of the main ones is because, when you meet, okay, when you met this guy, did you kind of feel like, man, I feel like I've known you forever?
Well, I had one. He was like an ex-boyfriend that
Uh,
we had dated when we were younger, and then I moved to Calgary, and then I came to visit Montreal for like a week, and like we saw each other, and then I'm like, oh, what a great feeling, and I moved back.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it was like that feeling that I was missing in my life, someone that was like taking care of me and making me feel safe, and just those feelings that I wasn't ever giving to myself.
Yeah, that's a main reason why we're attracted to somebody is because they fill a need within us. Like they are something that we are not,
Hmm.
or that we wish we were, or like you said, it's like a need that we're not filling ourselves. And that makes us so dependent on them because they're filling those needs. And so if we leave them or they leave us, we're also getting torn away from getting our needs fulfilled.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And if they're like the only source of that need fulfillment, that's devastating, and we'll
No, it
do
was devastating.
anything.
I was
We'll do almost
devastated.
anything to keep our needs getting fulfilled, even if it means giving up a large part of our value or worth or who we are. Like we'll change, we'll become a chameleon and be whoever we think they need us to be so that they'll fulfill our
Exactly.
needs.
Exactly. And I did do that. And it's not, he didn't even ask any of that of me. I just,
Totally.
it's just what I thought, what I thought
Yeah.
would get the love from him or the acceptance or, whatever. And even when he left me, my first thought was like, go find someone else that, will do the same, will take care of me, will do the same for me.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I've just had enough of this crap.
Yeah.
I need to figure this out on my own. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I
Love
never
that.
wanted to feel that broken that I felt when he left me.
Yeah. Yeah. Another we also sometimes get into relationships because the person that we're with makes us feel a certain way that we have always wanted to feel. Like they make us feel desirable, or they make us feel confident, or they make us feel. And so then again, that creates codependency, right?
Yes.
Like you were talking about codependency, because then it's like, then if we break up, then I lose a part of myself
Yeah.
instead
You
of
should
just,
never feel like that.
right, instead of giving that to yourself to begin with and working at creating that part of yourself that you don't have, like rather than trying to be outgoing yourself, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Anyway, so I was just thinking about codependency because you mentioned it a couple times.
Yeah. I was just like codependent on him for financially. um, I always had hair extensions and eyelashes. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I like put that to my worth and like what he wanted as a woman by his side. And he never asked me of that, but I just in my head thought that. And I thought that those were the things that were gonna get like, the sexual stuff, passion. And like we had a lot of fun together. We would go out a lot. We would go out to restaurants a lot. We'd have fun nights a lot, and we would come home and you think that and he would just go to bed all the time. And I just wanted to throw me against the wall. But so that really messed me up.
Yeah.
Because I just thought, I'm like, I'm doing everything. I'm like, I look beautiful when we go out. I'm like, we're having fun. I'm like, I'm so I never question anything you do. I never get jealous. I'm doing everything that a perfect girlfriend would do, but I'm still not getting what I need from you. So that really messed me up a lot.
Yeah. It's so powerful though. When you left that relationship, you turned more to yourself.
Yeah,
Really love
exactly.
that.
Oh yeah, I could have gone a whole other way, but it happened pretty quick too. It was just like I like tried like right away to meet someone else, and I just realized very quickly that no, no. I need to figure it out on my own and find my joy. And you can, as women, we can. Like you don't need to be with someone to feel beautiful and desirable and passionate and like a goddess. Like you really don't. It's probably the most I've ever felt so good about myself and beautiful and sexy and passionate and sexual. It's the most I've ever felt in my whole life, and I'm single.
Yeah. Yes. I love it. Do you struggle with sexual shame still or not?
No, I don't think so anymore. No.
Nice.
Uh no, and that feels really good.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, like I feel like I could do whatever I want to do and I wouldn't feel bad about it.
Yeah, cool. And what has impacted your sexuality the most?
Really getting to know myself, really accepting and loving myself, and really, yeah, really getting to love and accept myself as I am and my body as it is, and realizing that whomever is going to be in my bed is going to love all of me too, and that's that. Like there's nothing I have to do any different. Like no matter what your body size is, that you are worthy of all the love and all the touching and everything. And you will
Yeah,
find, as long as you stay authentic and true to who you are and fully accept and love yourself, you're going to attract the people in your life that are going to fully accept and love you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I always think about the whole fully accepting yourself can be a challenge because we're really taught to repress and suppress anything that doesn't fit into society's vision of what it means to be perfect, basically. I don't know. Like perfect isn't even a thing, but we have this concept in society of what it means. And I found for myself, the more that I accepted and felt compassion for my shadows, like my anger and disgust and shame and guilt and um, grief and pain, the more whole I became, because then I started integrating those pieces instead of pushing them away and saying like, "Oh, I don't want you a part of me," and judging parts of myself. Because when we do that, then we become less than whole,
Yeah.
right?
You're
And so
not
then
being you're not being authentically who you are and like accepting all the parts of you.
exactly. And then when we accept those parts and we love them and
Exactly.
we accept every part of who we are, then our sexuality can become,
Explosive.
that much, yeah, like that much more powerful and whole, just like and everything else, like our power and our joy, like everything can become more whole. But judging ourselves and cutting off parts of who we are, it just makes us less than ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure I have ADHD. Like, I'm not diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I have it, where I'm just very disorganized. Things could be a little messy sometimes. I speak when I'm not supposed to speak. I'm loud. And I've always not liked those things about me, and I've always been shameful of those things about me that nobody's gonna. I'm a lot. I could be a lot, but I've realized that I'm so fun. Like those things make me fun and like whatever. That's who I am, and
Yeah.
I am okay with that, and I will own that, and I will be this fairy person that I am all the time, and I'll attract the people that want to be around me.
Yes.
And it took
Totally.
me a long time to, I to accept all that, and I was for the longest time, especially when I lived in Calgary. Calgary can be a very, you know, in a box kind of place.
Yep.
Um, I'm not putting any judgment, but it's true. Uh, I mean, I remember going on dates when I was there, and like the first question someone would ask me is like, "Do you own or rent your house?" It was always
Wow.
yeah, it was always like that, and I always felt so judged. It's not just there. I came here and I feel judged, and I felt judged here as well. It's wherever you go, but I'm just accepting all, like you said, all those parts of me that I was always so shameful about, and I'm using them to help other women, figure out like love and accept all their parts. And I'm like, and especially in my membership group that I have, I'm always like talking about. It's not always about how empowered and how perfect my life is. It's not. I talk a lot about the messy things and the things that are going wrong, and the things that
Yeah. You have to.
and that's what makes you beautiful.
Life is messy. Absolutely.
It is, and I am a messy person, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. This year, every year I pick a word to focus on. Just kind of in the back of my mind. I just kind of always have it there and I'm thinking about it and its place in my life. And this year is joy. And
Jacqueline Joy.
yes. And I was taking a course on joy, and he said, joy isn't being happy all the time. It's just accepting. You find joy when you accept everything. Um, when you like accept the entirety of life, basically,
Yeah,
that life includes everything. This is something that I'm really learning even now, especially during COVID. But life, it's boring and mediocre a lot of times, and that's fine. Like it doesn't have to be, oh my god, best day ever
yeah,
every day. Like that's
no,
not
can't,
life.
yeah,
Some days are like that, and some days are really horrible, and some days we're really struggling, and some days are really easy, and it's just life. And so when you can embrace all of life and all of who you are, that's what allows for joy, because we can see joy then where it is.
Yeah,
That makes
yeah,
sense.
it's true because especially like New Year's I spent by myself with me and my cat. Valentine's Day I spent by myself, me and my cat, and Mother's Day I'm gonna spend by myself. And all these things in the past,
Totally.
it's been it could be a really big struggle and like it could be depressing and it
Hmm.
could suck, but it's finding like, what could you do with yourself that will give you a little bit of joy? It's just like, is it going and buying spending some money and buying a really good bottle of champagne that you really like and getting, like on Valentine's Day, I got myself like champagne. I had like my champagne glasses. I got like a charcuterie board I made for myself, and I watched a romantic movie and I laughed
Nice.
and it was
Yeah,
and it was wonderful. And it's just, it's getting to those times where it sucks and finding a little bit of joy in it,
absolutely.
and how you could bring yourself out of that shitty time and just find something, a little bit of joy.
Yes, I love that. Find a little bit of joy. Joy in the time of COVID.
Yeah, and if you find a little bit of joy, it's guaranteed you'll find a little bit more and more and more and more.
Exactly. It's so true.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
I have two more questions for you. How important is your sexuality to your happiness and fulfillment in life? Do you think?
It used to not be important, but now it's really important. Like it's important for me to be sexually expressive and to say what I want and desire. And it's important for me to be with someone who is going to listen to me and hear me and be open to it. And also, um, I would like to be with someone who brings out more than I even know I have in me. Because I
Yeah.
know that there's more in me that I don't even know is there, and I want to be with someone that like we both mutually bring out that side or
Yeah.
that it's super important. I think it's super important. Sexuality is so important. If you're single or if you're not single, it's yeah, and I think I need to spend a little bit more time focusing on myself as a single person and that part of me. I kind of like ignore it a lot of the time.
Yeah. It's easy to ignore. Um, but
Yeah.
it's also brings us so much bliss and pleasure and
Creativity. I do. I
creativity.
get so much creativity. I
Seriously,
do. I get so
so
much
much
creativity.
creativity.
When that part of me is fulfilled, I get so much creativity.
Yeah.
I do.
Same. Yeah. Lust and desire, because desire, like our life is not in boxes. So when we fuel our desire, our sexual desire, it also fuels our desire for things in life and our desire to make an impact and our desire to connect with others and our desire, to, I don't know, create our life the way we want it. Like desire is desire.
Yes,
And so you
exactly.
fuel in any area of your life, and it impacts your desire in every
Impacts your
area.
desire in every area. I totally agree with that. I love
Oh,
desire.
yes, I know. It feels so good.
It does. It's something I'm missing. No,
But
I'm not missing because I give it to myself. I give it to myself, but but I'm putting it out there that I am like, you know,
yes,
welcoming in some more desire.
experiencing desire with someone else is very fun.
Yes,
I cannot
exactly.
agree more.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, and like you can say it all day long, like you have to empower yourself, pleasure yourself, and all that. But at the end of the day, we're human beings, and we require another human with us sometimes.
Yeah. Yes. Intimacy and connection and lust and desire with another human being are very fun and powerful
Important.
and
Yeah,
important. Yeah.
it is.
Um, and what is one thing you wish you knew as a teenager about your body, about sex, or about sexuality? If you could go back in time and tell yourself one thing, what would it be?
Well, it all stems to body issues. I just, I wish life was how it is right now back then when we were younger. When we were younger, it was all about supermodels and very skinny, this and that, and just like everything, everybody looked the same. Nowadays, it's better. There's a lot of like body positivity out there and curvy models and people on the cover of magazines that have normal bodies, or plus size bodies. Um, so I wish back in the day, I wish I had grown up. Like our kids are lucky, like the kids that we have are the way we're gonna raise them, the things they see, it's a lot better. But I wish I had grown up not thinking that I had to be perfect for someone to love me, or I had to have a perfect body for someone to love me sexually, or any of that. Like I wish I would have known that now. I wish it didn't take me till I was my age now to realize that. Because I think it was a lot of it's hard work to really get that in my head, and I'm still struggling with it.
Yeah.
But I feel if you would, it's a lot of old beliefs, trying to get rid of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a
um,
process.
uh,
It's not like, oh,
it is a
I'm
process.
just gonna deal with this belief now and it's never gonna affect me again.
No,
Like
no, it's a
sometimes that
language.
happens,
The
but not
journey is
very
a
often.
language.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
exactly.
process.
Yeah, and
So
that's why like my program that I have, it's like a 12-week thing, and it's like going into like the past and what you need to heal from, what held you back, what you need to forgive, and then like you need to go through all that stuff before you can really figure out who you are as a woman
yeah.
and what you need and what you desire. You need to like figure out all the things that have held you back and all of that stuff, or else you'll never really be able to get past it.
Yeah. Cool. So where can people find you?
Um, well, I have Facebook, Instagram, and I have a website.
Yep.
So my Facebook is Jacqueline Joy. My Instagram is Jacqueline Joy Coach, and my website is jacquelinejoy.com.
Awesome. Can you spell that?
Yes, it's Jacqueline JacquelineJoy.com,
Cool.
and then there's Jacqueline Joy Coach, which is
Yeah.
JACQL.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
I can't
Yeah.
say, I can't spell it right. Yeah,
Just
I
once
got
is
it.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much.
this is
I've loved
wonderful.
this
I love this.
conversation. Yes, loving your
Me
body
too.
how it is and loving yourself in your entirety is so powerful and so important. And I'm really glad that you're out there, you know, broadcasting this
And it's
message.
and I want to like say, a lot of people will say to me, "I wish I had your confidence. I wish I could like, be like how you are." And I have to
Yes.
tell you, like, I don't have it all figured out. Like, I struggle. There's times when I cry on the weekend, and I'm like looking at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Like, nobody's gonna want. Like, I struggle with. It's an everyday evolving thing. It's how you get yourself out of it. It's how you. It's not about the hard times that you have. It's how you deal with it. And do you reach out to someone to like get them to remind you who you are? It's how you talk to yourself. It's not everybody as empowered as I'll be, or as empowered as we'll ever be in our life. We're always going to have those down times and those dark times, and there's nothing wrong
Totally.
with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Totally. I know.
Yeah,
I always find that interesting too when people say things like that to me and it's like, "Okay, for starters, I haven't always been this way."
yeah, exactly.
Like it's been a long process to get here to where I am. And
Yeah,
also, like you said, like I don't have my shit together. I don't have my
no,
ducks in a
nobody has
row.
their shit together. Nobody, not one person has all their shit together. Like
Totally.
everybody, you're not human if you don't.
Yeah. Um, I was just laughing the other day. I think I mentioned this in one of my videos, but um, I was like crying the other day at night. It was really late. I was so tired, but I was crying because I had to brush my teeth. Because as an adult, it's like it can be so like adulting is overwhelming and adulting is really fucking hard.
Yeah,
And there's like, I wasn't just crying because I had to brush my teeth, but like
you're just tired. Yeah,
brushing your
yeah,
teeth is one of 3,972 things that you have to remember to do on a daily basis as an adult. And that's
yes, I
not
know.
including, the thousands of things you have to remember every month, And then every year, like, I don't know, your car registration and
Yes.
changing the
Yeah. There's so
furnace
many things.
filter
Yeah.
and, cooking healthy food all the time and exercising and meditating and yoga and doing your business and connecting with people and reaching out to other people and ask them how they're doing and like all this stuff. And it just was like all on top of me. And I was like, I don't want to brush my teeth because this is one more thing I have to do as an adult. I'm
Well,
like,
then don't. You don't always have to. Just go to bed.
but yeah, like I'm just like, I totally agree with you. We're just all human. We're all struggling through this. And
Yes,
nobody has
exactly.
all their shit together. But
Nobody does.
I agree that there are tools that we can learn that you and I have learned and other people have learned that they just help you along the way. Maybe it's just having more compassion for yourself and not judging yourself and adding judgment and shame to the difficulty that already is life. Or maybe it's like you were saying, getting out of it faster.
Mm. And reaching out to someone, like, a lot of people, especially when you get into like being someone who's in a public eye or someone who's an advocate for confidence, empowerment, you kind of feel like you can't be vulnerable and you can't show weakness and you can't show that you're having a bad time because I have my membership group and I lead it and I'm supposed to be the person that's leading them and empowered. But I have made it clear to them from the beginning, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to be like, if I'm having a shitty day, I'm going to tell you about it. Like, I think women need to realize that just because you have a high paying job and you're like an executive or whatever, you're making all the money in the world, you have permission to be vulnerable and to reach out and to speak to someone. And that is empowerment, is
Yeah.
to reach out and talk your truth and be vulnerable. Reach out to the right people though, and and ask for help or like say how you're feeling and like remind yourself. So many instances where I felt like horrible and I reached out to someone and I felt instantly better.
Totally. Asking for support is really powerful.
Yeah. And a
Uh,
lot of women are scared to do it because they're like, supposed to be in a certain
Superwoman.
place or something, Yeah,
Yeah.
superwoman, exactly.
And we're not. We're all just humans.
We're all just human,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I mean, I have,
Like maybe I like sorry, go ahead.
no, 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 you go.
No, I was just gonna say like some in life, um, maybe I'm just like you and I, like maybe I'm just half a step ahead of someone else in a certain area and I can help them in that area and that'll evolve as I evolve.
Yeah,
So,
totally. And then they'll help you, with something that you don't know.
exactly.
Like we all can
Yeah,
just help each
exactly.
other along the
Exactly.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean I'm more empowered or less empowered. Maybe I'm just a half a step ahead of the people in my group. And but I mean, they've reached out to me and helped me with things. My clients have helped me also
Yeah.
in certain areas. It doesn't mean anybody's more empowered or more super powered than anybody else. We're all humans, we're all women.
Yeah. Yes. Um, yeah, that's beautiful. That's a good place to start.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yes.
Cool.
I
All
love
right.
this so much. Thank you so much
Yes.
for having
You're very welcome. Thank you for being on my show.
me.